Do 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 do. Boop doop doop doo. Come on. Trying to upload something, hoping it'll finish soon. Boop, boop, boop. Come on, internet. I'm trying to upload something from Google right now. It's taking its own sweet time. It's like processing, still processing. Get the wheel of death, and there it is. All right, put me back on the screen here. Hello, everyone. Kinniku, Cement Shoes. Good evening. Reichardt, Sal, Mel. I saw a message from Mel earlier. Thought it was there. About Cullen. There you are, Mel. Little chat. Yeah. Good evening, Mel and Sal and everybody else. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Yes, tonight's trivia is on Charles Edmund Cullen, or the depending upon which media source you go with. He was either the angel of death or he was the good nurse. There's quite a few different nicknames for him, but basically, in a nutshell, he was a nurse who killed a lot of patients, in the past. I did no studying. My husband and kids left for Florida, so I have done nothing. Oh, but didn't your dad come to visit you at the same time, Kitty Q? But I believe that's what you said. Your father was coming to visit. Netflix has a movie about the good nurse. There've been I think 4 mainstream movies that were based on Cullen that were actually in the theaters, and there've been quite a few. I would have to guess over a dozen different made-for-TV movies. Some have aired on Lifetime. Some on like Netflix. The Good Nurse. Good evening, Gianna Marie. Welcome to tonight's trivia. My dad rearranged so he can be here when the kids are here. Oh, okay. Well, still gets to visit your dad at the same time, so that'll be good. Lemon pie. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Get another minute and 30 seconds here, and then we're gonna get this going. I've also watched the documentary that was made about him. Hmm. I haven't seen any of the documentaries. I've caught a couple of like the one um the Killer Nurse and the Angel of Death. The Angel of Death is the last one I watched, and that was made by I want to say it was Discovery, but it may have been on Lifetime where it originally aired. Now I watched it on YouTube. So Wilster, I'm following your lead tonight. All right. Let's get this party started, ladies and gentlemen. Get myself my little window. I will not. Some of the other ones I have to take, but close the window, my little window. You'll see just how the questions were formatted. I didn't take into consideration that I needed that area of the box, but you'll see it. I'll I'll be here and they'll be gone. All right. Anyways, warning: viewer discretion is strongly advised for this content and any content that I stream. It is not meant for all audiences nor all ages. So please be advised that you may hear or see things on the stream that are may disturb some individuals. American serial killer Charles Edmund Cullen, the Angel of Death, is what tonight's trivia is on. And question number one is on your screen. We will never know the total number of victims Charles murdered. He was charged with how many murders, though? Was it A, 19, B, 30, C, 29, or D, 45? How many murders was Charles Edmund Cullen actually charged with? Question number one of 20. Gianna Marie is going with C. Inner Peace is going with 144,000. Cement Shoes, D. 11 Pie, A. QTQ is going with B. Sal, B. And Reichardt, C. How many murders was Charles Edmund Cullen actually charged with? Gianna Marie or A? B. It's actually 29. I'm doing great, Jude. I hope you're doing well. All right, question number one. The correct answer is C as in cat. And good evening, little Linda. C as in cat. He was charged with 29 murders. Why will we never know how many actual murders that Charles Edmund Cullen actually committed? It's because forensically, not all of his victims were ever even determined to be a victim that he overdosed or gave illegal drugs to. They weren't all patients that were under his care as a nurse. And he bounced around from hospital to hospital to hospital and committed the crimes in a series of different ones. And the lax system that was in place at the time that he was doing this, they weren't controlling or watching the medications, and some of them, like one of his last victims, actually lived long enough to tell the police, look, he came in and he gave me some kind of medication, but they didn't know what the hell it was, and she died like the next day. But 29 charges is what he was actually charged with. Question number two. The monster that is Charles Cullen is maddening. In his own words, I just couldn't stop. I tried, but I had to keep going. What was his reason for keep murdering? Was it A, he needed to get to 144,000? B, God made him? C, he believed he was relieving their pain? Or D, Barry Morphew made him? It's absolutely incredible that hospitals weren't keeping an eye on the dispensaries related to his employment, right? A lot of these the hospitals that Mel, they were worried more about how much they were going to get sued and have to pay out for what he was doing. So they would just fire him, tell him go away, and then they would brush it underneath the rug, and pray that the families didn't come forth and say, "Oh man, you hired this nurse, without checking his background, and here he is. He's got all these people he's killed." So they just kept on pushing it underneath the rug. Insurance company told him to. Reichardt, A and D, of course. E. Cameron, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great week, Cameron. And she's going with E, 500. Mountain lion got his tongue. Little Linda is going with C. Money was their only concern. Disgusting. Yes, it is. Very disgusting that things like this happen. All right, question number 2. The correct answer is C, as in cat. He believed that these patients were in pain and he was trying to end their suffering. Some of these people were in the hospital for for things for as simple as a broken leg, or they were in recovery from cancer and they were in for another surgery, but none of them were in any type of pain, and nor were any of his patients actually close to death from a medical condition. Now, some of them were obviously older, but towards the ends of their lives, but still, he did this because he wanted to. He can try to justify it any way he wants by saying he was trying to relieve them of their pain, but they weren't in pain. All right, question number 3. Like so many other serial killers, Charles Cullen served in the U.S. military. He received an honorable discharge as well. What branch did he serve in? Was it A, Space Force, because it's real, B, the Army, C, the Marines, or D, the Navy? Bamakat, good evening, Bamakat, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Tamara, 500 milligram Tylenol, Cullen, extra strength. The Tylenol poisonings. Left-handed RN, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia as well. I hope you had a great week. Smoke them if you got them. Mel is going with D, the U.S. Navy. In the Navy. Sal's going, I think he was on a ship, but Army? Question number 3 of 20. What branch of the United States military did Charles Edmund Cullen serve in? E, Morpheus, Mountain Lion, TPUs. Purple, good evening, Purple. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great weekend and week. All right, question number 3. The correct answer is D, as in dog. He served in the United States Navy. He was eventually get a medical discharge because they said he had extreme anxiety. But he originally, when he went into the Navy, he passed all the psychological testing and everything else, and he served initially on a nuclear, not a nuclear, but it was a diesel sub. And then after the sub, he kind of went off the rails. They sent him to the state hospital for the Navy, and then they put him on an actual ship, and he served on the ship. In case you're wondering, the sub was the Woodrow Wilson, and the first one, and then later on another class of submarine. But he went off the rails on that one, and they found him at his post wearing hospital gowns, rubber gloves, a face mask, and he was completely out of uniform at his actual position where he's supposed to be on the sub. But he'd eventually go on to serve on a ship, and then in supplies and stuff like that on the ship. But then he got a medical discharge because of his anxiety. All right, question number 4. While in the Navy, Cullen had what is listed as a nervous breakdown. That's how the Navy actually listed it, as a nervous breakdown. He attempted to take his own life several times. This is where Cullen would fall in love with nursing. Where did he go to school to become a nurse? Was it A, Mountainside College, B, State of California Prison Library, C, UCLA School of Medicine, or D, John Hopkins School of Medicine? While in the Navy, Cullen had what was listed as a nervous breakdown. He attempted to take his own life several times, and this is where Cullen would fall in love with nursing. Where did he go to school to become a nurse? Gemma! Good evening, Gemma. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Tamarin E. Ed Kemper University. Ed Kemper. School of Hard Knocks, says it interpees. Kitty Q A? Question mark. Question number 4 of 20. Where did Cullen go to school to get his degree, become a nurse? School of Rock, says Lemon Pie. Was it Black? What's his first name? Oh, the half of Tenacious D. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Hey, well, I'm late. Hey, Dawn Marie, good evening, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I'll have to catch up. Well, you're more on time than the people who haven't made it. We're only on question number 4. University of Diox in Colorado. Question number 4. The correct answer is A as in apple. Mountainside College is where he would go to get his first degree in nursing. He would then goes on subsequently. He did night school, and he also did some online courses as well. And then he had on the job work experience to put towards his advanced degree in nursing. All right, question number 5. Serial killer, angel of death, thief, and a husband and a father. Yes, he has kids. How many kids does Charles Cullen have? Is it A, 8, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 9? Good evening, Pippadot, and welcome to tonight's trivia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening on headphones, take the headphones off for a second. There's going to be a loud noise here in just a second. Going to be a loud noise. Here it is. And the count of 3, 2, 1. Sorry, I had to close out the my upload. I finally finished. Sorry about that. Dawn Marie is going with C, question mark. Lemon Pie, B. B, Charles has two children. Oop. I have no, what the hell did the chat go? There it is. Closing out windows here. I'm working on other things at the same time here. Now I'm done. I'm back to paying attention to this. I had trouble finding you again. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you finally did find us though. All right, serial killer, angel of death, thief, and a husband and a father. Yes, he has kids. How many children does Charles Cullen have? The correct answer is B as in boy. He has 2 daughters. 2 daughters. He is actually, an ex-husband. He is divorced. He is most certainly divorced, but he has two children with his wife. Question number 6. Charles Cullen loves music and still does. What is his favorite song from the list below? Is it A, Danzig, Left Hand Black? B, Led Zeppelin, Southbound Suarez? C, Public Enemy, By the Time I Get to Arizona? Or D, Happy Birthday, the Happy Birthday Song? Chucky is divorced. Yes, he is. Charles Cullen loved music and still does. What is his favorite song from the list below? Here's a story of serial killer. Let the body hit the floor. Ah! Let the body hit the floor. Body hit the floor. That's a good one, Cameron. Some men's shoes. The hokey pokey. Kitty cute. See, I have no clue. Carly, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia, Carly. I'm sorry I missed you earlier. I meant to say hello when I saw you, but I hope you had a terrific weekend. Welcome to trivia. Baby Shark. Oh, there's a song that has been on loop in my head for a long time. My son listens to Baby Shark, all the time. Oh, that and the Peppa Pig song just constantly are playing. All right, baby got Bax's lemon pie. I did, Carly. I did have a nice weekend. Thank you. All right, question number 6. The correct answer is A as in apple. Danzig, Left Hand Black is one of his favorite songs. And if you want to watch it, what he says about the band Danzig, you can find it as part of the interview on 60 Minutes Australia, who interviewed him the last time from death row. But I'm not death row, but from prison. He's in prison, and I won't say anything more than that. But they interviewed him. They were the last ones to actually have a formal sit down interview with him, and he goes into some pretty dark conversations about certain types of music that he always enjoys, and Danzig is one of them. Never heard of Danzig? Uh, Danzig is um, well, I guess you'd call it metal, a metal band, heavy metal. Um, Danzig is, I mean, it's good music. I like it, but I mean, I like all types of music. But all right, anyways, going on to question number 7. June 10th has a special place in Charles Cullen's heart. His daughter celebrates this day as well. His first daughter, sorry. What else is special about June 10th to Charles Cullen? Is it A, he committed his first murder on that date? B, it's his birthday? C, he met his ex-wife on that day? Or D, he will be eligible for parole in the year 2403 on June 10th. June 10th has a special place in Charles Cullen's heart. His first daughter celebrates this day as well. What else is special about June 10th to Charles Cullen? He wore white on Labor Day. Organ Procurement Day, says Cameron. Okay, thank you. I'll look again. Senate Shoes is going, and Carly and Pippin are all going with A. Gianna Marie is going with C. Mel is going with D. Gianna Marie is going with A. And left-handed RN and Kitty Q are going with that. And Pippin. Juicy Jules. Good evening, Juicy Jules, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great weekend and week. He looks like a serial killer. Yeah, he is. National Iced Tea Day, says Lemon Pie. Gemma is going with B. June 10th has a special place in Charles Cullen's heart. Well, what's so special about June 10th to Charles Cullen? Ladies and gentlemen, he will be eligible for parole on June 10th in the year 2403. That is when he is eligible for parole. 2400 in the year 2403. That is not a misprint. He is doing 15 consecutive life terms, and that is his first eligible parole date. I don't think he's going to live 400 years, but he kind of smiles about it. And if you've ever seen any of the interviews with this guy, he is deadpan to the max, and that shows almost no expression about anything at all. No happiness, no sadness, no anger, nothing. But he kind of smiled when they brought up the option of the parole date in June 10th in the year 2403. And why is his daughter celebrating? It's not her birthday either. And you might have thought that, well, maybe it's his first daughter was born on that day. No, that is the day that she won a talent show from like the county, not at the school level, but at the county level. His first daughter. Just happens to be that they put his parole date on the same day that she has to remember, hey, I won that talent contest. And my daddy will be over 400 years old before he gets out, almost 500 years old before he gets out of prison. He's going to die there, ladies and gentlemen. Question number 8. No, first, learn a little bit more about Charles Cullen. If it wasn't for a brave friend of Charles Edmund Cullen deciding to wear a wire and record conversations with Cullen, Cullen would most likely have killed hundreds of more patients in his care and others who were not in his care. So let's all thank Amy LeGrun for being brave and stepping up to put an end to this madness. She went under, not undercover, but she wore a wire and she recorded conversations with Charles for the New Jersey Police Department, who was investigating, his crimes. And if it wasn't for him admitting to, her, and initially, and he was eventually arrested in that same restaurant, but as he left the restaurant, he was walking out, and that's when they arrested him. But if it wasn't for his friend Amy stepping up, and doing this, he would have killed hundreds of more easily. All right, question number 8. Cullen admits his murder spree went on much, much longer than he himself believed it would. How long did his murder spree, go on for? Was it A, 27 years, B, 15 years, C, 17 years, or D, 28? Anything is possible. Yes, it is. But one of the reasons why a lot of people kind of cast a negative light on his friend Amy, the one who you just learned about. But she was under investigation because there were irregularities in the log book and the dispensary for drugs. So they were looking at her for criminal charges, and they're like, hey, we'll work out a deal here with you. If you get him you do this for us, we'll go easy on you on these others, and you can keep your medical license to be a nurse. 651 years in the Matrix. Cullen admits his murder spree went on much, much longer than he himself believed it would. How long did his murder spree, go for? Lieutenant RN's going with B. Carly going with A. Pippa, I'm guessing A. Jules going with B. Lieutenant RN, B as well. Purple going with C. 17 years. Question number 8 of 20. Tamara D. Little Linda is going with B. Oh, I hate shingles outbreaks, Sal. I hate them. I have shingles. Yep, it's one of those things we get. A lot of people get shingles, and I'm sorry. Hopefully, your outbreak wasn't that bad. Mel is, I'm trying C, says Mel. Well, that's good. Shingles sucks. All right, question number 8. The correct answer is B as in boy. 15 years. He was killing people for 15 years. Now, that is not his entire, crime spree. Even when he was in the Navy, he had committed a series of crimes, but they weren't continuously like, okay, he started committing crimes, not murder, but theft of items. Then he was stealing items from the Navy itself. But then there was a large period of time where he stopped, so it wasn't continual. If you have to add everything up from when he was committing theft and when he's in his total murder spree, it would be 19 years. But 15 years is what the question is how long did his murder spree go for? Question number 9. In his words, Cullen said that as he took the lives of patients in his care, it made him feel what? Was it A, remorseful, B, angry, C, pity, or D, joyful? I had a terrible case of shingles in 2008 and hospitalized for 8 days. Wow. That sucks. I've never had an outbreak that bad. Shingrix vaccine for you at 55. I hope cross my fingers, knock on wood, that I never have an outbreak that bad. Kiddiku is going with C question mark, and Sal is guessing D as well, or D and a question mark. They're very painful, extraordinarily painful. That is what I would say. I also have gout, but there's another fun one. But as long as I take my medication, I stay away from things, food wise. The gout is pretty much, under control. All right, question number 9. The correct answer for 9 is D as in dog. He said that after he took a patient's life and he knew that they were gone, that he was joyful. After he took another patient's life, he was joyful. Gout can hurt too. Oh yeah, my friend had them in his eyes. Oh boy, shingles. Oh, that would suck. Most of my flare-ups of gout are my feet and ankles. Question number 10. Forensically, they cannot prove how many people Charles Cullen murdered. However, under his care, hundreds of died under suspicious circumstances. How many do they believe he may have killed? Is it A, 409, B, 353, C, 550, or D, 144,000? You're a, you're a widower? I'm sorry, Juicy Jules. Forensically, they cannot prove how many people Charles Cullen murdered. However, under his care, hundreds of died under suspicious circumstances. How many do they believe he may have actually killed? And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that if they were ever able to forensically, prove, what he actually did, Charles Cullen would be the largest serial killer that has ever stepped foot on American soil. He would make other, angels of death, doctors of death, look, like school children, like they're out for play. If they were ever able to prove his total number, as you can see there, the lowest one is 353, all the way up to 144,000. But that one's not real. But how many? Pay for until you're 60 plus. Yeah, a lot of stuff like that, Cameron. I can't get knee replacement surgery until I'm 60 because they want to only do it for quality of life. So I have to just deal with the knee pain and stuff and everything until I'm 60. And that's not just Medicare. That's other insurance because I have private insurance. They won't pay for it. All right. Question number 10. Forensically, they cannot prove how many people Charles Cullen murdered. However, they believe hundreds of people died under suspicious circumstances. What do they believe his actual murder total is? The answer is A as in apple, 409. 409 patients died under suspicious circumstances between 4 hospitals that Charles Cullen worked at. This is not including what he did outside of work. He did volunteer work on top of it, where he had direct, one-on-one contact with patients. But 409 people died under suspicious circumstances. All right, that is the end of 10. I don't look at that question. It went by. You're supposed to take our break. I clicked it too many times. So you got a sneak peek at question 11. But anyways, we're on break. Take a 6-minute break. If you're new here, for 6 minutes, do what you need to do. Use the facilities, make yourself a sandwich or a cup of tea, smoke a bowl, whatever you want to do for the next 6 minutes. He volunteered to kill people. My, what a nice guy, right? I didn't see anything, says Mel. I knew it. B. Cement Shoes will be right back. All right. There was another Angel of Mercy nurse that killed by using a coat hanger wire to rupture bladders. but I forget his name now. Oh boy, that sounds painful. He lived 17 miles from me. Charles Cullen. Yeah, we all pray for that cement shoes and everyone else, heals up quickly. Juicy Jules guessing A for something. So the question came up in yesterday's live stream, yesterday morning's live stream, about the Washington State prison inmate who ate himself to the point where he was too fat to actually be executed. And I looked into him a little bit more and learned more about his story. But his name is Mitchell Roop. Mitchell Roop was found to be too obese to be executed by hanging, or he was also found to be too obese to die by lethal injection. But Washington State has since abolished the death penalty, and his sentence was converted to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But Mitchell Roop, been to the one hospital he worked at. If you want to look into a scary case, Gemma, today I was reading about the Frankfurt slasher. That is a serial killer who has never been caught in the UK. They killed between 1980 and 1990 in the UK. The Frankfurt slasher. You're okay. Tons of new things going on and changes. Well, that's good. Changes can be, exciting. One minute left of the break. One more minute. Well, 1 minute and 30 seconds, but yeah, the Frankfurt slasher. Really big, exciting changes. Well, that's good. All right, 1 minute exactly now. And then we're back. He was up for hanging, and it would have decapitated him. So he was overweight. Yep, he gorged himself to, I think it was around 400 pounds or something like that. And if they would have hung him, it would have decapitated him. Mitchell Roop. Meep. Well, I don't know about this guy. Oh, Charles Cullen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Question number 11 should be on your screen right now. In the year was 1993. Cullen wanted to walk away from nursing, thusly stopping the murder spree. However, he was ordered by the court to keep working. What was the reason that he had to keep on working? Was it A, to pay restitution for crimes that he committed? Was it B, pay for drug rehab? C, child support? Or D, required mountain lion payments. The year was 1993, and Cullen wanted to walk away from nursing, thusly stopping the murder spree. However, he was ordered by the court to keep working. What was the reason? Ooh, we got a lot of C's. Lieutenant R.N. Kitty Coo, Sal, Pippadot, Meep, and Gianna Marie is going with C as well. Charles Edmund Cullen. A little bit of background on him, Meep, and since you said you didn't know anything about Charles Edmund Cullen. If the forensically were ever able to prove that he killed all these patients, he would have killed over 400 people, and he would be the largest serial killer that has ever stepped foot on American soil. Van down by the river. C is what's making the most sense, says Mel. 1993. The judge told him he had to keep working. What was the reason? Question number 11 of 20. The nurse guy. Yep. Angel of Death. That's what he is most commonly referred to as. Charles Edmund Cullen is referred to as the Angel of Death. All right, 1993. What was the reason the judge ordered him to continue and keep on working? The answer is C as in cat, to pay his child support. He wanted to walk away, and he told the judge in family court that he was thinking about quitting nursing. He was burnt out, and he didn't want to do it anymore. Obviously, he didn't tell him he was murdering people, but the judge said, no, you're going to continue to work, and unless you change jobs and you have an overlap between the two of them, so you don't miss any child support payments. And he was furious about this. Charles, was mad at the judge, and he went back to work, and he got another job. Now there was a couple of month period where he did, stop working before he went to the next hospital, but he was required to keep working to make his child support payments. But if he would have stopped in 1993 in his murder spree, we would have saved hundreds of people. Wouldn't have died. Alrighty, question number 12. Charles Cullen once volunteered with a nonprofit agency. Which one did he volunteer with while he was actively killing patients? Was it A, the United Way, B, Goodwill Services, C, Doctors Without Borders, or D, American Legion? Charles Cullen once volunteered with a nonprofit agency. Which one did he volunteer with while he was actively killing patients? From true crime to gardening. Who knows? He might have found a different venue for his criminal behavior. Yeah, he might have, Mel, but he certainly wouldn't have had access to them. I mean, as a nurse, he would see 20, 30 patients a day, maybe kill 2 or 3 of them, and not all his victims were under his care. Some he killed, were not under his care at all. And he particularly did that, and he confessed to, that's part of his confession, is he committed these crimes of killing other patients that weren't underneath his care, so they wouldn't look at him and like, oh, look, all these patients all have one thing in common, this one nurse. So he killed patients that weren't under his care, that he wasn't seeing, because that way they couldn't just look at him and go, wait a minute, it was all these people died underneath this person's care. That's the person we should be looking at. I know he wasn't a doctor, but could be C. There are a lot of people who work with Doctors Without Borders that are not doctors. There's doctors, there's nurses, there's dentists, there's optometrists that work with Doctors Without Borders. My not my mother-in-law, but it'd be what her brother's wife. So whatever relation it is, I'm terrible at remembering what how those things work. Sister-in-law, whatever. My mother-in-law's brother, his wife, she worked with Doctors Without Borders, and she was a nurse. So I'm not saying that's the correct answer, but there are a lot of people with a lot of different professions who work with the Doctors Without Borders. Faith Forlong. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a great week and weekend. All right, question number 12. The correct answer to number 12 is A as in apple. He volunteered with the United Way. And with the United Way, he volunteered with them when they went out into the poorer communities and with the Boys and Girls Club. He had patient contact with adolescents and children as a nurse practitioner through them in the United Way in the poorer communities. There is no evidence that he ever killed any of those patients that he had contact with through the United Way, but he still did in the height of his actual murdering spree. He decided that he was going to volunteer with them. And we're talking about hundreds of more people that could have been victims of Charles Cullen. Question number 13. During his time as a care nurse, Cullen was forced to take several lie detector tests to see if he had administered drugs that killed patients, which he passed all of them. What year did he take the last lie detector test and pass? What year was that? Was it 1996, B, 1997, C, 2004, or D, 2002? In total, Charles Edmund Cullen was administered a total of 5 lie detector tests. 1 when he got his first job as a nurse, and 4 subsequent ones at different hospitals because they wanted to know if he was telling the truth about he didn't administer the wrong drugs to patients or give them medication that they weren't prescribed to kill them. But he passed every single one of them. Tells you just how reliable a lie detector test is. But whatever you do, don't tell Maury Povich, because lie detector tests on Maury are, hey, that lie detector test determined that you're not telling the truth. Oh, there are ways to bypass the pipit dot. The most common one that you can, I don't know if it works, but I mean, there's a lot of people who have put out videos on YouTube on how to beat lie detector tests. And one of the most common ways is to put a thumbtack in your right shoe. So when you're asked a question, during the middle of responding to the question, you push you tap your toe on a thumbtack that you've placed in your shoe. And that supposedly throws off the results for a lie detector test. I don't know if that's true. I just know that that's what the videos on YouTube, say. But for Charles Cullen, did he really give them drugs that killed him? Maybe he really, really believed that he was, relieving them of their pain and not killing people, that he was helping them transition to the other side. Maybe that's what he believed. So in his mind, maybe he really believed that. So he wouldn't have been lying. There's a commonsensical reason why lie detector tests are not accepted in court. It wasn't the guy who actually invented the lie detector test. He hated it so much that he actually he would hook it up to a plant. But he hated that his invention was being used by law enforcement and other things, because that was never what his intended purpose was. Sneak drugs in the jail. You can take drugs too. Yeah. Especially like I believe it's like Xanax or something like that, or something that's for medication that would be prescribed to somebody with ADHD, supposedly works. Again, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. All right. During his crime spree, when was the last time he took a lie detector test and passed it? Question number 13 of 20. The correct answer is D as in dog. In 2002 was the last year that he took a lie detector test that the hospital made him do. They forced him to take it, and he passed it with flying colors. But we all know, looking back on it, and he even admitted to his friend Amy, coworker, and to the law enforcement after he was arrested. Yeah, I did that. I killed people here at this hospital. I killed people at that hospital. I killed people here as well. But Kevorkian kind lie detector. I'm going to kill my typing finger. All right, question number 14. As part of his plea deal, Cullen must help reconstruct the method of how each patient in his care and each patient not in his care he murdered. This was required. If he does not do so, they have the right to do what? Is it A, resentence him to death? B, add 319 years to his sentence? C, send him to maximum security prison? Or D, make him move in with Barry Morphew? As part of his plea deal, Cullen must help reconstruct the method of how each patient in his care and each patient not in his care he murdered. This is a requirement. If he doesn't do so, they have the right to do what? You had to do paperwork with Jack Kevorkian. Yeah. Jack Kevorkian didn't just take people out, and they came to him. He didn't go out and find people and kill them. People came to him seeking an end. Also, Sal, Lieutenant Orion, and Gianna Marie, Purple, Pippadot, and Cement are all going with A. Gemma is going with C. Q is going with A as well. Question number 14 of 20. Mel is going with A as well. A seems to be a very popular choice. Repossess his van down by the river. The little Linda is going with A, and Mel. As silly as it must be, A. Question number 14 of 20. Oh, Meepin's just in time with A. The correct answer to question number 14 is, in fact, A as an apple. A as an apple. All right, so part of his plea deal is, and it states right in there that he must help law enforcement solve each and every one of the murders that he committed. He needs to recount and rework through and reconstruct how he did it. He did not, give each and every person, a shot. Some of them he suffocated with a pillow. Others he injected them with actual pain medication or insulin. That was one of his more popular ones, just to make them go, and crash. But He has to reconstruct every single one of them. And at any point, if they feel like he is not being truthful or he's not helping them solve every one of his crimes, then they have the right to take him back into court and have him resentenced again. This would be his third resentencing because, well, or third actual penalty phase of a crime. He was convicted of murder underneath the first original plea deal. Then years later, they brought him back into court and they found him guilty of additional murder. And every time that Charles Cullen has been in court, he has had a propensity to scream out a weird thing to the judge every single time. And the last time he was in court, they actually gagged him with duct tape and closed his mouth, and then strapped him down to a chair with restraints because he sits there and screams out constantly, nonstop, that the judge is fake and he needs to dismiss himself from this case and step down. He always screams something, like that over and over again every time he's in court. Otherwise, he just sits there and does nothing. And there's nothing out of the man at all. All right. Question number 15. Is he dead? Nope. Meep. He is very much alive. Cullen life behind bar oddly hasn't been covered very much by mainstream media here in the U.S. However, one news show has. Which one is it? Is it A, Dateline Canada, B, 60 Minutes Australia, C, First 48 Mexico, or D, Forensic Files New Zealand? Cullen's life behind bars oddly hasn't been covered very much by mainstream media here in the U.S. However, one news show has. Which one is it? Lieutenant RN is going with A. There was 2 nurses that did this kind of thing. Yeah, well, on top of a couple of doctors who have done this. Ooh, Carly's going with B, Pippa Dot, A, Kitty Q, A. Some men chooses going with E, The View. The Jersey Shore. Hey, the Jersey Shore making an announcement. I actually like 60 Minutes Australia. Well, I think it's pretty good. Pretty good show. Lieutenant RN. I meant B. Dateline Canada? That's news to me. It says Mel. Question number 16 of 20. Which one of these news shows has covered his life behind bars? All right. The answer to question number 16 is B as in boy, 60 Minutes Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, A, C, and D are fake. There is no Dateline Canada. There is no First 48 Hours in Mexico. And there is no Forensic Files New Zealand. But there is and are several different affiliated shows, channels, like 60 Minutes Australia, 60 Minutes, for the UK. There's 60 Minutes show for the Pacific Rim. That there are several different 60-minute programs out there, but all the other ones are all fake. There are, the real shows, Dateline, First 48, Forensic Files here in America, but there are no international versions of them. There are some that are like them, but not exactly the same as the ones here. Will, so tricky. I had to come up with something for the answer to it. But yeah, 60 Minutes has covered him, Australia 3 times. They've interviewed him. All right, question number 17. Which one below, made for TV movies, was Charles Cullen in and have a credit for writing, yet received no money for his work? Was it A, The Good Nurse, B, The Killer Nurse on the BBC, or C, Capturing the Angel of Death, or D, Killing for Kindness? And Left-Handed RN has been a member now for 31 months. Congratulations and thank you very much, Left-Handed RN, for being a channel member for the 31 months that you have been. Gemma, member for 15 months as well. Thank you very much, Gemma, for being a member as well. I'm very humbled that that people have been members and subscribers for as long as they have, and that each and every one of you is here with me today and tomorrow. Which one from below, made for TV movies, was Charles Cullen in and have a credit for writing, yet received no money for his work? Question number 17 of 20. I think I'm not 100% sure, but it isn't The Good Nurse. Yeah, that's the one on Netflix, isn't it? I'm not entirely sure where all these have been. These are all real, by the way. These are real made for TV movies. These are not fake, like the last question. These are all real. But I think The Good Nurse is made for TV, for content for Netflix. But I don't know where the other ones. Obviously, The Killer Nurse is on the BBC. Kirk Cameron saves Christmas. I always wondered what happened to him, and then I came across a video on YouTube of him. He's like standing on, and he was telling people about the Bible. I had no idea what the hell happened to him after. Well, he wasn't on Silver Spoons, on Growing Pains, the TV show. That's the last time I heard of Kirk Cameron. And then I see these videos, and I guess he's been doing stuff like that for quite a long time. Might be the Angel of Death. This is the best community on YouTube. Oh, thank you, Pippadot. I appreciate it. And Sal, thank you as well. You're right. This is a great community. Kirk is nauseating. Yeah. Wasn't the Angel of Death in the UK a female? Question number 17 of 20. The correct answer to question number 17 is he was in Capturing the Angel of Death. In the actual made for TV movie, in Capturing the Angel of Death, it actually played clips of him in his interviews before he was sentenced, and he was talking with law enforcement. They played the little clips like from the interrogation room, and he also has a credit in there for writing, because in the Angel of Death, he actually gave them notes about his actual crimes, and then the rest of it is an actor who is in the rest of the movie, but made for TV movie, Capturing the Angel of Death. Now I didn't write down where that one was for. Could be Lifetime Network. It could be, that could be Hulu. It could be another Paramount Plus. I don't know. But I did not write that one down, where that one aired or who it made it for originally. All right, question number 18. In prison, Charles works Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He makes 19 cents an hour. What does he do for work? Is it A, janitorial, B, office work, C, he makes license plates, Or D, he works on a clothing line. And that's not like he's making his own high fashions. There are jobs like clothing lines, like they manufacture actual items. A lot of the inmates' prisons that do have clothing lines, they manufacture the coats, the jackets, the pants, the t-shirts, your underwear, socks, whatever, that are going to be sold to or given to other inmates. So it self fulfills its own, needs. But that's what a clothing line is in prison. They're not sewing like, clothes that you're going to buy out here on the street. Besides, someone who is found guilty of a crime cannot profit financially from that crime. True, for the most part, Mel. But like I've told people before, that the laws and the restrictions on that have become more and more laxed as time has gone on, from not being able to profit from your crimes. But prison, Charles works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and makes 19 cents an hour. That must be fun. 19 cents an hour? I wonder how much a ramen noodle packet costs. If you make 19 cents an hour, you have to work like what, 3 hours to make, be able to buy a noodle, some noodle pack, Top Ramen or Matcha Ramen, whatever it is that they might be selling them. Inmates have clothing lines. Well, they make the jackets, shirts, pants, socks, underwear, t-shirts that other inmates, have to wear as their prison outfit, and then other items that will be sold off of commissary. Like the jacket he's wearing there, it looks like a Levi's jacket, but it's not. It's something that's made by other inmates. Now there's another, the largest manufacturer of actual prison clothing is called Dick Van Dyke. At the same as the actor, but is not related to the same guy. But the Van Dyke family is the people who own it, but they're not related to the actor. I'm sure they don't have noodle discount days. No, they don't. Commissary actually is pretty expensive. Somewhere around here, and probably in my filing cabinet, I have the commissary list for Christopher Watts for Dodge Correction Center, but I don't remember how much the noodles are. He makes surgeons for hospital. Syringes for hospitals. I don't think they're doing that, but that's funny. And kind of morbid at the same time. They make Louis Vuitton. The commissary is a lot. Oh yeah, especially when it comes to like how much a tablet, or not a tablet, but like an MP3 player. They're like $25, or something like that, and you're making 19 cents an hour. Holy crap, that's a lot of work you have to put in just to get an MP3 player. That's why the theft is so high, because they steal things from each other. All right, question number 18. What does Charles do for work in prison? Ladies and gentlemen, his job is A as in apple. He does janitorial work in his housing unit and in the front offices where the correctional staff work. That is his entire access to anywhere in the prison. He doesn't go anywhere where by the way, he is in a protective housing unit, protective custody, a PC unit, where he will be the rest of his life. Another inmate who's doing life would love to get their hands on, like, I took out the biggest serial killer ever. They would love for that, especially if they're already doing life, or they're going to die in prison, and maybe they got a sentence of like 100 years. Like, well, I'm going to die here anyways. But they would love to get a hold of him. But he does a one at a time. So there's no other inmates around, but he does janitorial work for 19 cents an hour. We're paying them way too much. Nursing to janitorial. Yep. So he cleans up after all the wonderful humans in his pod. Lovely. It's not, yeah, it's not just a housing unit. It's hallways, and then he, I guess, vacuums or cleans offices, takes out the trash and stuff like that from where the correctional staff works. But he's a janitor, from nursing to janitorial, like Pippadot said. All right, question number 19. Charles Cullen wrote a book about his crimes in 2017. The title of his book is The Poseidon Effect. Why wasn't this book published? Why hasn't this book been published? Is it A, he refuses to have it published for free? B, he refuses to sign the contract? C, he doesn't want his ex-wife to profit? Or D, he doesn't want his kids to profit? Charles Cullen wrote a book about his crimes in 2017. Title of his book is The Poseidon Effect. Why hasn't this book been published? Question number 19. Oh, the Morgan. Good. He spelled poison wrong. The Morgan, welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, the Morgan. Meep is going with C. Morgan, purple. For long is going with C as well. E. He doesn't want Chad Daybell to outsell him. Question number 19 of 20. He wrote a book in 2017 about his crimes called The Poseidon Effect. Maybe it would cause a tidal wave of money and people trying to grab it. Left-handed RN is going with C. Hi, everyone. I'm really late. I'm going to have to rewatch this. Please do, the Morgan. Please do. Question number 19. Why hasn't this book been published? The correct answer to question number 19 is C as in cat. He doesn't want his ex-wife to profit from his story of his crimes. And from what I can gather, she must play a dominant role or something in there if she's mentioned in the book. But again, he can't profit from the book at all, from where he is. He can't profit from his crimes. So he would have to find somebody else who's going to profit from it and get the proceeds from the sale of the book. But he doesn't want. He said he won't have it published until it'll be published after he dies, and then it'll be published. But he doesn't want his ex-wife to profit from it. Would the ex-wife profit? Well, she could definitely if she plays a dominant role in the book. She could say, "Hey, he's using me in this story." Plus, the crimes and stuff like that took place during marriage. I mean, I think they got divorced in 1993 or maybe it was 96. Somewhere in there. It was in the 90s they got divorced. But anyways, oh, thank you, Gemma. Thank you for creating such an amazing community and accepting me and my channel and educating us about the Getty images. Well, you're welcome, Gemma. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're here with us every week. Thank you. Question number 20. Charles Cullen hates other serial killers. He doesn't see himself as one either. One killer he said one killer he did say he has always been fascinated by is who? Is it A, Ted Bundy, B, Dr. Shipman, C, H. Holmes, or D, Jeffrey Dahmer? Kitiku, he doesn't want to spell the title correctly. Charles Cullen hates other serial killers. He doesn't see himself as one either. Never has. He thinks that he was doing the right thing by killing these people because he thought of it and saw that he was ending their pain. I don't know how somebody breaking a leg or two legs in a car accident makes them, and they're otherwise okay, but let's kill them anyways, end their pain. They're definitely gonna, heal up from broken legs. E. Ronald McDonald. So Morgan, A or B? Oh, purple. I think you got it, purple. Purple's going with the old. I'm going to go every one of them. A, B, C, and D. I'm sure purple has got this one correct. Cullen was active in the town I live in. One of the hospitals he worked at is our local hospital. Wow. Was Dr. Shipman a real doctor? Yes, he was. Meep, in the UK. Harold Shipman, Dr. Harold Shipman. All right, question number 20 of 20. What serial killer has he always been fascinated by? The correct answer is B as in boy. Wasn't his name Harold Shipman? Yes, it was, Pippadot. He was always fascinated by Harold Shipman. All right. How did you do tonight? Of course, this is completely optional. You do not have to give yourself a letter grade. We are only here to play this game for fun and for entertainment value only. We are not here to, say, hey, look, I'm better than this person, or this person's better than this person, or any of that. Some people like to keep score, some people don't. Again, completely optional. Did you get an A, a B, a C, a D, or are you just a solid E, a rock star mountain lion tamer? Kitiku got a C. Of the 20 questions on tonight's trivia, I knew exactly 17 of the questions before I put this trivia together. So I would have gotten myself an A. That's a good thing because of the last like 3 trivia nights, I would have gotten like C's if I was taking this by myself when the questions had been put together. But I actually knew quite a bit about Charles Edmund Cullen. I've seen parts of at least 2 of the different documentaries about him, and I've seen quite a bit of coverage from 60 Minutes Australia of of him on in prison interviews that they've done with him. I did really well, but that's not important. All right. I want to be a mountain lion tamer, says Pippadot. Purple, C. I had fun. I've never made it past the D on trivia night. Well, maybe one of these nights it might be a subject matter you know more about me. All right. Next up is our cold case for this week. Cara Marie Cox has been missing since 5/15 of 2022. Missing from Seminole, Oklahoma. She is 41 years of age today. Well, right now, this year. She is 5'3" to 5'4" inches tall. Weight has fluctuated between 120 and 150 pounds. Hair brown. Eyes are brown hazel color for her eyes. They kind of look black in the picture. I understand that. But Cara Marie Cox, missing from Seminole, Oklahoma. What do we know about the disappearance? Cox was last seen in Seminole, Oklahoma at approximately 8:44 p.m. Sorry, the p.m. The p is before the 44 there. On May 15th of 2022, she was driving her green 2000 Honda Civic Del Sol, which is like a small like SUV, crossover with Oklahoma plates LEQ 736. On May 20th, 5 days later after she vanished, her vehicle was found abandoned at a Love's Travel stop off the exit on Interstate 40. It was found locked and in working order and had 3/4 of a tank of gas when it was found. The vehicle was impounded and nobody ever came to claim it. Cox is believed to have been traveling with a long-haul truck driver who called her family a week later saying he dropped her off after a fight they had at a rest stop in either Arizona or California. He wasn't too sure because he wasn't paying attention, is what he said. But they also say that he changed his story. There was a possible sighting of her in Joseph City, Arizona, but that is unconfirmed. The individual who was seen in Joseph City, who may have been her, was going by the name of Marie, not Cara, but she referred to herself as Marie. And she, according to the eyewitness testimony, that this was who it was. They believe it was Cara Marie Cox. So again, she's been missing, a little bit more than 2 years from Oklahoma. Her family has filed a missing persons report for her and has currently a $20,000 reward for her safe return. No history is known about substance abuse issues or why she would, if she did, break up with this long haul truck driver, why she would be there in Arizona and not want to go home, why she hasn't reached out to anybody back home, and they would more than likely get her a bus ticket or plane fare to fly home. But maybe she just wanted to, leave it all behind and go on to Arizona or California. But if the eyewitness accounts are correct, she is alive and she is out there, but they don't know at this point. But Cara Marie Cox is our missing, and endangered person of the week. All right, and if you know of a tip, yeah, go back here. What? Stop doing that. The phone number you see in red there is for the FBI for the state of Oklahoma. But if you can leave a tip with them and you can remain anonymous by calling 918-664-3300. If you know any information that may help the state of Oklahoma or the FBI, find Cara Marie Cox. One last time, look at her pictures there. The upper left corner is from her picture from her driver's license, and the bottom one is cropped out. I cropped out another family member who is in the photo with her. That's it. That's it for the trivia. I hope that you guys enjoyed the trivia night. Now, someone had suggested, I believe it was probably Cement Shoes, who suggested the West Mesa Bone Collector as a topic for trivia night. I started looking into it and diving into the West Mesa Bone Collector. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it right now. I mean, I wish they had an actual suspect who was arrested for that and and charged. But there's a lot of speculation out there, and a lot of was it human trafficking? And these people were, these women were killed because they were in that trade. I don't know where I'm going to go with it. Truck driver called her family. Yes, supposedly, her car was abandoned at a truck stop. It had 3/4 of a tank of gas. It was in perfect running condition. There was nothing wrong with the car. Like, it's not like she broke down and parked it there. And then they got a ride with somebody because she was, going somewhere else. And then not even a week or a week later, this person called and said that she was on the road with them from Oklahoma, and they got into a fight, and he dropped her off at a truck stop at a rest area, off of some highway that goes between Arizona and California. But he wasn't sure if the rest area was in Arizona or in California. That's the story. At least that's what the family says. How about Lisk? Do I have Lisk on here already? Oh, I do not have Lisk on here. I didn't. I do now. And thank you for the suggestion, Cement Shoes. I don't believe anything this guy has said. What guy? The truck driver? Dial dip do didn't do. I don't get a chance to watch a lot of True Crime Loser anymore. I try to. And congratulations to him, on the birth of his first child, Rex Heuermann. Didn't they just charge Rex with 2 more murders? Yeah, that Long Island serial killer. There are a lot of bodies out there. But I've been looking into serial killers that have never been caught. I don't think I'm ever going to do them for trivia night, but some of them I might do specials on videos, full length videos, or videos and shorts on. The I-70 killer, who killed up and down I-70 from 1992 to 1996. The eastbound strangler, who positioned all of his victims, women, facing east in perfection. So obviously the person was using like a compass or something. That was back in 2006 when the first bodies were found behind a motel, for the eastbound strangler. The Jeff Davis killings, Jefferson Davis Parish killings. Well, how many serial killers can be out there? Well, Pippadot, according to the FBI, going back before the turn of 2000, let's go back that way, in a timeline, there was over 1,000 active serial killers in America back then. They've now put it between 500 and 600 active serial killers. It doesn't mean there's 1,000 of them all killing at the same exact time. They're active, as in they haven't been caught. Then they might be hunting or looking for the next victim, or they're actively killing that day. 1,000 is what it used to be. Now they believe it's between 500 and 600. How about the Volker Ecker, the German truck driver? July 1st is the calendar book. July 1st in the calendar book. The serial killer, this one, is it July 1st? June. Yep. You're right. Volker Eckert. July 1st, 1959 through the 2nd of July, 2007, was a German truck driver and serial killer who confessed to the murders of 6 women, 5 of whom were prostitutes. He was accused of committing 19 murders in France, Spain, Germany between 1974 and 2006. 15-year-old Eckert committed his first murder in 1974 in, is that Cullen? Do you pronounce that? Terrible with names. He strangled a 14-year-old girl, but he succeeded in camouflage as a suicide. Succeeded in covering it up as a suicide. Wow. Serial killer calendar. This day in killer history. There's more to it. I just don't feel like reading it all right now. They're sad that there's so many. Yeah, serial killers are a unique group of people in the out there. Just as technology changes and it may look like it's making it harder for them, they found other ways to to still kill others and get away with it. Evade capture by not doing it where there are going to be cameras around, so they avoid the cameras. Just like you and me, we can all avoid them. We know where they are. They're at intersections. They're on buildings. They're on street corners like that. So go in the outskirts of town. Go to the suburbs. There's not as many cameras there. I think the Zodiac killer is dead by now. I'm pretty sure about that too. Sal, I put money on that. That he's dead. I think personally, I have my beliefs of who it is, but good night, Mel. I think the Zodiac killer is dead. Bye bye. But if you ever want to read a good book about the Zodiac, Gray's book is great. There's a lot of. I mean, you can actually get the TV movie tie-in one as well. But there are a lot of books about serial killers out there. You can fill an entire library of just books on killers, books written by killers, books about killers. The more popular they are, the more books there are. I would hate to even try to think how many different books are out there about Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer, or a book where they put 5 or 6 different murderers in a book. That's the whole book. They talk about their crimes. Bob Crane from Hogan's Heroes. Yeah, his crime's never going to be solved, is it? At least I don't think it is. There are certain crimes that will probably never be solved. I mean, unfortunately, though. I mean, I hope that there's a way to solve the murders. Especially like we have a huge issue here in America that nobody talks about, and that's the violence against women who are Native American, indigenous people. We have a huge problem with it. The reservations that if they live on the reservation, that the violent crime that they're going to see from birth, growing up, on a reservation, and it's just not talked about. And in a lot of cases, we don't even know, that these people have vanished because nobody tracks them. At least they didn't. They're starting to now. They're starting to pay attention. but we've had it for so long. And the Highway of Tears going from the United States up into Canada, I mean, they know at least 3 different serial killers probably, hunted that area and dumped women up and down that highway system. And nobody even heard about this place. Nobody's even looked into their deaths. And they're just numbers in a logbook. Another victim found here, another victim found there. They don't even have a name, in a lot of cases. I mean, they eventually, if they are able to identify them, oh, your daughter was missing from this town. Okay, well, she was wearing this when you last saw her. Oh, this is the victim we have wearing that. Okay, this must be your daughter. Good night, Pippa Dot. Thank you again to everyone for being here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up tonight's trivia. I want to, again, appreciate everyone. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the trivia night. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Leave me a comment. Tell me what I did wrong, or what I could do to improve it. If I can't hear from you about what you would like to see or a suggestion, like those who gave me suggestions, I got a little black book here that I keep all of the topics in, and as I do them, I cross them off, or I put if enough people like it, I put I'll do a part 2 on it. But thank you again, everyone. You all have a terrific week ahead and stay safe out there. Bye.